Welcome to Invent a Fish 2. If you weren't here for the first competition, the basic concept is that a bunch of my viewers invent their own fish designs. They try to come up with good adaptations. They try to come up with like beautiful designs to look at. They try to just come up with cool fish. There's no particular, like thing that we're going for, that we're looking for. They just kind of do their best to make fish that they think are cool. And then I judge them. And I determine what is the best fish. And I choose the 16 fish that I think are the best. And then I also choose some fish that get some special awards for doing some special things. And then chat votes from top 16 all the way down to the top 2. And then we have some sort of random battle to judge who is the true winner fish. First award is the dumbest fish. And I had to give this fish something because Jesus Christ, it was kind of funny, but I'm gonna give it the dumbest fish. This time we actually had a lot of dumb fish that had effort into them. So this is the Crabzilodon. It lives up to 5 million years, and it lives in the ocean, and when it decides to come on land, it apparently means the end of civilization. So this is not a fish to fuck with, but I thought this was just like, a lot of people tried to make amalgamations of channel memes, like include seahorses, include Crabzilla, include Megalodon. This is the only one that I thought did it mildly successfully. Yeah, he is eating a sushi truck. So I decided to, if I'm gonna have a dumbest fish, I'll give this one credit for dumbest fish. Our next award is the funniest fish. This one made me laugh the most. It is called the He Who Walks. Eats things, flops around, like a fish. It has a PogChamp face, which I plan on adding to the Discord because I think this is just funny as hell. Imagine this emote. Sick ass mohawk. Can walk on land sometimes. Probably going to evolve into some sentient fish person and create taxes and bills and have the cranial structure to develop depression. We love depressed fish. We had to come up with the funniest one. There are actually quite a few people tried to be funny, but I will say more so than last time, people actually tried to do it. Last time, people tried to do funny stuff more so in the first Invent a Fish competition. In this Invent a Fish competition, people were more concerned about actually creating like viable, adaptable fish, not so much about creating funny stuff. All right, the fish that made Zach the most uncomfortable is, of course, puffer tits. Because what else would it be? It's just a puffer fish with tits. I mean, yeah. I mean, there's not much more to say. This just made me uncomfortable. And of course, we have the fish that made me the most uncomfortable, when we went through these fish and picked the top 16 fish, Soph, my beautiful girlfriend, and I went through it together. And I was made most uncomfortable by this fish, but she disagreed. She was made most uncomfortable by this fish, which is ironically a fish with a face on the side of it. And I know what you're thinking. They must have seen my presentation on the devilfish and decided to do a fish based on that. But no, this was submitted before I even had begun working on. I had the idea, but before I'd even begun working on the presentation for the devilfish. So this person somehow created a fish with a face on the side at the exact same time that I was creating a presentation about a fish with a face on the side. Insane. The next fish is the most effort, and this is the Aspiacentis and Nolat temere. This is the godfish. What you're seeing here is a school of fish and siphonophores that swim around it in a ring. It's basically a coelacanth looking fish, but you'll see why it's the most effort when I click this link here and we go to the document involving it, and we see a recently discovered fish at the bottom of the Pacific with the drawing surrounded by siphonophores and fish. We can see this glitchy image, which I thought was cool as shit. Like they tried to take a picture of it and it like glitched out the technology. We see the little fish that swim around it and then it by itself. And there's all descriptions throughout all of this. So this person put in a lot of effort, and I thought that deserved recognition. So I went ahead and gave that one some recognition. This is my favorite, my personal favorite, the hell shark. It has the outline of a human on its belly, and it lies belly up on the surface, and people think it's a person and it's drowning, and they go to save it, save the person, and boom, this thing eats them. And I think that's cool as shit. It's just a highly realistic fish that actually has a really cool adaptation specifically for hunting humans. And it's also submitted by A Tanker. If you guys don't know A Tanker, he has done like a lot of good drawings for the for the Invent a Fish competitions before, so he deserves some recognition. This fish is just dope. Which of course leads Soph's favorite. Soph's favorite was the anglerfish variant, which is just a slightly different version of an anglerfish, except it has a heart as the angle, and they even added an animation. There's that animation, and then there's this like animation. Just a little, you get to see the whole thing. The animation was pretty cool, so that was Soph's favorite. She also, I think, just was a little soft for the heart in the anglerfish. On to our top 16. So these are the 16 best fish submitted. We'll announce every fish, we'll announce who it's made by, and then we'll get into the bracket and start narrowing it down to the best fish. Number 1. Eusocial shark. So this is basically a type of shark which practices being eusocial, which is a cool social organization system that is not very common, and I think is really interesting. I also love the idea of the queen female, which basically you have the male, the female, and then basically the female's larger, more like adapted form after mating during gestation and everything. Pretty sick. I think just generally good drawing. I like the layout. I like the size comparison. The information's cool, and then I like the idea of a eusocial shark. I think that would just be cool. Number 2 is the Armoured Dogfish. I fought hard for the Armoured Dogfish. This was my second favorite, and it was close to my favorite. I actually liked a lot of the submissions, but I really liked this guy. I thought he was fucking adorable. I think they're adorable. Soph tried really hard to get rid of this one. She was like, well, we could get rid of this one and then put something else, or we could get rid of this one and then put something else. But I was like, no. This is the fish that I want. And I managed to convince her to keep him in the top 16. So this is the ones we got in the top 16. It's the Armored Dogfish by Schwingelman. Next up is the Spotted Urban Shark. So this is a shark that actually lives in sewer systems by Marmaris. It hunts rats and other various things in the sewers, which I think is a cool idea. There have been fish found in sewer systems, like minnows can find their way into sewer systems, assuming the sewer system is not temporal, it's perennial. But I don't think there's anything quite the size of a shark or anything that's really preying on other things living in the sewer system. So I thought this was a cool idea. It's a niche, it's a habitat that nothing else is occupying. And imagine if there were sharks swimming underneath your home in the sewers. Next up is the Phodiacanth, which, I mean, come on. This is a coelacanth with a accurate Greek name, Firespine, right? Which evolved to create basically underwater fire by harvesting hydrogen. That's just cool. It's a light source to attract prey, and it deters predators because it's fire. It just looks cool as shit. It's based on a coelacanth, which I love. The one problem I had with it, and the moment I pulled this up, Soph is like, oh, I know what you're gonna say. The one problem I had with it is this makes no sense. He placed on the phylogenetic tree, if you can see here, the Phodiacanth, and then it evolves into the lungfish and coelacanth. Why would the Phodiacanth evolve, and then something like this becomes a lungfish and a coelacanth? They should be next to each other. Anyways, that's the only issue I had. I liked it. Well done, Hypey. Next is the Viper Mercurial. I love the way this is presented. It looks like in Ark, when you play Ark Survival Evolved, you can like discover creatures within those books, and this is like the exact thing. It's got the size, the juvenile, all these cool things. I just really love the presentation. It's got the distribution. It's like in the mid-Atlantic Ocean here. A little bit of a weird distribution, considering the temperature should be the same, but pretty cool. It also has a cool adaptation. It uses mercury as venom. If you guys don't know, mercury levels in the oceans are rising. We have an increasing amount of mercury, and it is toxic to most fish. But this fish intakes that mercury, so it's taking that pollution, using it to its advantage, and uses it as venom. So not only is this drawing and shit sick, but it's also a cool adaptation to use mercury in the water as venom. Next up, we have the Namazu Sea Dragon. I don't know if you guys know, I used to go by the name Namazu online. It's basically like from Japanese folklore. It's a giant catfish that causes earthquakes. That's pretty cool. Yeah, this one is giant. It's a giant carnivore. It says it doesn't hurt bigger animals on purpose. Bigger animals, but it's 200 meters, which is fucking massive. Lives 300 years, lays eggs every 50 years. Just a cool drawing. I like the fade drawing here. Next up is the Carno Gar. So I've made a lot of points about how we shouldn't be afraid of Gar because Gar are not dangerous. Gar are cool, fun, happy creatures. Well, this person said, fuck that, I'm gonna make a Gar that eats things. So this is a carnivorous Gar, although all Gars are carnivores, I think. This is a Gar that also attacks larger things. So it's just a more aggressive, violent Gar, which I think is cool. Gars have a cool shape for being aggressive. They just don't often do it. There's even a baby. It says Meep. Trailfish. It's pretty cool. Basically, have you ever thought, hey, there's jellyfish in the world. We should create a fish that acts like a jellyfish. So this is a fish that has jellyfish-like tentacles to grab things as it swims. So the main thing with jellyfish is they kind of have to just sit there. You know what I mean? Sort of like spiders, where they just have to leave their web and wait for stuff to fly into it. Jellyfish just have to kind of wait for stuff to fall into their tentacles. Imagine if you could actively move it. Imagine if there was a spider that could use its web, like, just carry it around with it and just catch everything along the way. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it does have Subnautica vibes, for sure. This is basically that. Pretty cool. This one we talked about earlier. This was the most effort fish as well. It is the godfish. Pretty fucking sick. Has siphonophores and fish surrounding it and some crazy cult rituals. It's just dope. I love the idea of a symbiotic relationship which involves all of the fish surrounding you as like a protective barrier. The lurking ventback is actually pretty interesting. It's like a volcano type fish that works with lava. It needs to be at a very high temperature. It says 80 degrees Celsius, which is extremely high temperature, needed in order to keep their body temperature up. So they basically only have to live in like volcanoes, or I guess maybe like right next to hydrothermal vents. I don't even know if the spot next to hydrothermal vents get that hot. So they have to be pretty hot. But the main interesting thing about this is that they can transform heat energy into usable energy. And that might not sound that crazy to you, but if you guys know what entropy is, basically the entire universe is moving towards a heat death. Most of the energy we use gets transferred into heat energy, and there's nothing we can do with heat energy. It just kind of floats around. And so basically the entire universe, as we use up and things use up energy to move, like me talking right now, you watching and typing right now is using up energy and converting it to heat. And as far as we know, we can never get that back. So the universe is moving towards using all of its energy and just becoming a mass of heat energy, and there's absolutely nothing else. So go on a walk today and, move the universe closer to its heat death. But anyways, this fish would solve that because it has the ability to turn heat into other forms of energy because it uses heat to power itself. So if we could do that, then yeah, be pretty dope. Seagrass Baudius, I mean, this is just dope. It looks like an ornamental, an ornate Polypterus, which are some of my favorite fish. I love those little lungfish with like the eel-like bodies. It's got such a cool design, and then it even has a symbiotic relationship with Baudius shrimp, which will kill the parasites, eat the parasites that are attaching to this fish, and receive shelter and protection from the fish, so free food and everything. I love those little relationships with invertebrates that fish have, which allows them to clean themselves. Pretty cool. Next up is the Lord of the Seagrass. This is submitted by Blue Tang's Rock. I believe they were in the top 2 in the first competition, so they're a shoo-in to win this one. They are extremely intelligent fish that basically just rule their area. And they also are farmers, so they cultivate seagrass. So like humans, cultivated wheat and all that. Lord of the Seagrass will actually cultivate seagrass so that they have an infinite supply to eat as they grow. So farming animals is interesting because that is one of, there's a list of things that like makes humans humans, and the reason that we say our intelligence is above other animals. And the ability for agriculture, the idea to think long term like that is something that makes humans human. So if this existed, it makes humans a little less human, which I think is kind of cool. Next up is the iso shark, which is just an isopod mixed with a shark. It's a shark that has an armored platy back and can roll into a ball. Cool as shit. I just love the idea of this. So this is basically a way to protect their back half while still having the same strong adaptation that normal sharks have. Constellation fish has a long ass description about how humans are going extinct. So this fish supposedly exists post-human extinction, the Anthropocene mass extinction event. It's extremely pretty. It's got bioluminescence all over it with whiskers, elongated fins. It attracts fish and crustaceans. It's basically living in a post-apocalyptic world where mammals are no longer on top, and so there's some small-ass things that it's eating. But the drawing's really cool. Flying Mudskipper looks like a dick. But I love the idea because we are now talking about how fish came out of the water and evolved to live on land. Mudskippers are the sort of the in-between nowadays with the fish that are living, you know, even sometimes mostly on land. And now it's evolved wings as well, and even has cool stuff like sexual dimorphism. It's Mudskipper stranded on an island, which I think is a cool, reasonable way to explain this. I like the idea. Fish starting to fly. Imagine flying fish, like literally, not gliding fish like gurnards or something. This is the Pancake Lumpsucker. I have a feeling you guys will like this. It's a hillstream loach mixed with a lumpsucker. So it's just a tiny, flat lumpsucker. Basically, if you guys don't know what hillstream loaches are, they're like pleco-type things where their body has like a suction cup, and they suction onto rocks and then eat, you know, algae and stuff. And this is basically a flattened form of a lumpsucker that forms that, takes that same niche that the hillstream loach takes. So it's pretty cool. They also describe them as little undersea Roombas, which, I mean, come on. That's cool as shit. That is our top 16. It's time to get into the bracket. All right, seeds are randomized. Our first match is the Spotted Urban Shark versus Lord of Seagrass. The Spotted Urban Shark, let me remind you, looks like this. The Lord of Seagrass looks like this. We'll leave every poll active for 1 minute exactly. So you have 1 minute to get your vote in. Damn, this is close, actually. Wow, no clear favorite. Wow. Damn, wait, I might have to leave this one a little longer. This is close. Is it time to give it to the Lord of Seagrass? Oh, the Urban Shark gained one. First one to 50 votes. Oh, first one to 50 votes wins. If you haven't voted yet, you can turn the tides. 2 votes for Urban Shark, 1 for Lord of Seagrass. Someone out there. Oh, 49 to 49. The next vote determines it if you haven't voted yet. Oh, Lord of Seagrass. Who determined it? Flu-Fi. You determined it. Damn, that was extremely close. That's rough. Lord of Seagrass. Congratulations. Next matchup is the Iso Shark versus the Viper Mercurial. The Iso Shark, of course, is the isopod mixed with the shark. Cool backing plating. All right. The Viper Mercurial is the cool-ass arc design fish that turns mercury into venom. I will say, last time we did this, these were not that close. This is closer than it has been previously, by a lot. It was not this close first in Ventafish. Oh, damn, Isopod Shark took the lead. All right, first to 50 votes. That's just how we're going to do it. First to 50 votes wins each time. Oh my god, they're tied again. Oh my god. Oh, first to 50 votes was the Isopod Shark. Damn! Another 50 to 49. This is insane. Why are these so close? Alright, the next one, I think might have a clear winner. The next one is the Phodiacanth, which is the fire-creating coelacanth, versus the cute Armoured Dogfish. Damn. Phodiacanth wins. First one to 50. That was the least close so far, but 54% to 45% is still really close. That was still incredibly close considering. Well, rip the Armored Dogfish. Next up, oh god, this is going to be difficult. This is a fight of a cool one versus one that chat will love. We have the Pancake Lumpsucker versus the Seagrass Bautius. Damn, this bracket is a rip. Damn. Y'all really just fucking hate the Lumpsucker, huh? That was an 18-second poll. You got to 50 votes on the Seagrass Bautius. Well, next up, we have the Lurking Ventback versus the Flying Mudskipper. Flying Mudskipper, of course, looks like a dick. Mudskipper with wings. Not much more to it than that. Lurking Ventback is capable of preventing the heat death of the universe. Save the universe or a flying dick. Tough choice. Would you guys save the universe or take a flying dick? Alright, we'll start going to 60. Lurking Ventback still won. But we'll start going to 60 from now on. Well, rip the flying dick. You tried your best, man. Next up is, oh, I know. Oh, this actually could be difficult. The Eusocial Shark, which I think is pretty cool. I like the diagram and the drawings and the idea of a queen female. Versus the constellation fish, which is a dope-ass drawing, I will say. Man, I am glad that I do this poll. I used to think like, man, I wish I got to choose the best fish, but now that I thought about it, it's like, man, I don't have to tell people that they fail. Chat just gets to do it democratically. All right, that was pretty quick. Like 20 seconds for the constellation fish to win. Next up, we have the Carnogar versus the Godfish. So the Carnogar is, of course, a more aggressive carnivorous version of the gar, and the Godfish is a fish with a symbiotic relationship with siphonophores and other small fish to create whatever the fuck this is. This could be close. I feel like each side, each fan base will have dedicated people on it. I'm personally a fan of the Godfish. I think the Godfish is cool, but the Carnogar is cool too. Damn, okay, people like the Godfish. And wow, that's a new record. 19 seconds to get to 60 votes. See how many records we can get. Congratulations to the Godfish. Ripped Carnogar was really good, but Godfish is just a really cool concept. Even beyond like drawing quality, it's a really amazing quality drawing, but even beyond that, it's just cool. All right, our last matchup is the Trailfish, which is essentially a jellyfish fish catching things in its tentacles, versus the Namazu Sea Dragon. Oh, chat's struggling with this one, huh? This one's pretty close. All right, 50, 50, 50, 50. Holy shit, talk about a tied poll. If it's still tied after another couple seconds. Oh shit, okay. Oh, some more votes came in. Some of the mobile viewers, 2-minute delay on their fucking Android smartphone, just added their vote, and the Trailfish wins. That is the end of the first round. Congratulations to the Trailfish. There's no recount. The Trailfish got there first. Shut it. We are now into the second round. There are only 8 fish remaining. Battling it out, we have the Lord of Seagrass, the Iso Shark, the Foidiacant, the Seagrass Bottius. Damn, that's like the top 2 seas. That's going to be a rough one. Lurking Ventback versus the Constellation Fish, and the Godfish versus the Trailfish. First up, we have the Iso Shark versus the Lord of Seagrass. Just a reminder, Iso Shark is an isopod shark. Lord of the Seagrass cultivates seagrass. Iso Shark looking poised to take this one. 25 seconds on the Iso Shark. Congratulations. Not even close. Sorry, Blue Tangs Rock. I love your drawings, but Iso Shark's pretty dope, and it seems like they're starting to build a fan base. Multiple people have said Iso Shark rocks or stuff like that, so I think there's starting to become a fan base for the Iso Shark, so I would watch out. Next up, this may be the hardest decision we have to make the entire time. The Foidiacanth, which is the fire coelacanth, faces off against the Seagrass Bottius, this amazing polypterus with the relationship with the shrimp. I don't even know who I want to win. Usually I know. This is rough. I love these both, but at the end of the day, only one can win. So whether they face now or whether they face off later, you know, only one can win. So it's gonna have to happen eventually. Good luck. Oh shit. This is not as close as I thought it would be. Why did I think this would be closer? Hold on, Foidiacant making a bit of a comeback here. 7 more for Foidiacant to win. Ah, there you go. Hey, good try though by Foidiacant. That was close. Next up, the Lurking Ventback versus the Constellation Fish. So we have the lava fish that can solve all of the universe's problems, save the universe, versus this sick-ass drawing. Which is more important to you, chat? Saving the universe from its inevitable heat death? Or, ooh, pretty fish. And wow, red and yellow lionfish beats God. That's something. You guys really like the constellation fish, huh? I did not expect him to do this well. Last match in the quarterfinals. Godfish versus Trailfish. I have a feeling the Trailfish is about to get clapped. So what we have here is the Trailfish, which is the Subnautica-esque tentacle jellyfish-esque fish, versus the Godfish, which is surrounded by siphonophores and symbiotic relationship. Hey, maybe the Trailfish will pull it out, you know? Maybe he can, ooh, I can't look, this is brutal. Jesus. Okay, yep. 14 seconds to 60 votes. All right, our top 4, the ISO shark versus the seagrass botius, and the constellation fish versus the godfish. How are you guys gonna choose between these two? You love both of these. First up, ISO shark, which has a lot of people behind it, isopod looking shark, versus seagrass botius, the most realistic and I think cool adaptation we have left. Actually, really close. I know the ISO shark is beginning to get a cult behind it, but the seagrass botius is also really well made. And ISO shark comes out on top after about a minute. Now you guys have to choose between the constellation fish and the godfish. Oh my god. A reminder, the constellation fish being the red and yellow lionfish with an amazing drawing versus a godfish with a symbiotic relationship with siphonophores and fish swimming around it, which form a protective barrier. Seems like the godfish is actually winning pretty handily. You know, you guys seem to be big fans of the constellation fish earlier in the competition. I thought there was going to be a pretty, I thought there was going to be a pretty rough fight here, but godfish winning handedly. And with that, we have our final 2. And do you know what that means? For there's only one way to determine which fish wins, the ISO shark or the godfish. There's only one way to decide, chat, and it's not a poll. We do not determine winners in this channel by democracy. We determine winners by pure and utter chance. The ISO shark versus the godfish. All right, you guys ready? The final competition. Godfish and ISO shark, all that's left is for their marbles to race to determine through this course. ISO shark with a pretty hype early lead. Godfish not too far behind if he doesn't get caught up. Ooh, not the best line there, but ISO shark got stuck a little bit too. Gonna be falling down onto the giant plane of existence here. Some of them better than others, it would seem. Godfish kind of falling far behind. ISO shark is pretty far ahead right now. But that could all change right here. You can get stuck for a while here if you get in a bad loop and don't fall down into the hole immediately. Godfish actually seems to have made up some ground. How long will ISO fish to get in versus how long will godfish take to get in? ISO shark going to be the first one to enter though. Godfish going to take a second longer, but he will enter. Just about as far behind as he was prior. Oh, gets stuck on the rotating platform though. Godfish fell out of the map. All that ISO shark needs to do is make it to the end. As long as he doesn't die, he wins. And the ISO shark is our winner. Wow. After all of that, the winner of our competition is the ISO shark, created by Majo in chat. Claps for Majo in chat. Congratulations to the ISO shark cult, who was way too into this shark throughout the competition and voted for it at every step of the way in what I would call a cultish manner. We'll probably do this again in another month or 2, maybe 2 months. I think is a good amount of time. I think we don't want to do it every month. It gets a little stale, but 2 months from now we'll probably do it. So thank you guys all for hanging out. I hope you had a good time. Yeah.